Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It area theorem class 9 round. What is question? What is given? Given that P is the midpoint of BC. P is the midpoint of BC. Okay. And through P, two parallel lines are drawn. One PR, which is parallel to CA. Okay. And PQ, which is parallel to BA. Okay. Now we have to prove that RQ is parallel to BC and area of triangle PQR is 1/4 the area of the triangle ABC. We have to prove this. Okay. So how to prove this? We will prove this using the concept of midpoint theorem and converse of midpoint theorem. Okay. What midpoint theorem states? Midpoint theorem states that the line joining the midpoint of any two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and its length is half of the third side. This means if this is a triangle, so this line and this point are the midpoint. P and Q are the midpoint of triangle ABC. Okay. The midpoint theorem states that PQ parallel to BC and PQ equal to half BC. This is midpoint theorem. And what converse of midpoint theorem states? Converse of midpoint theorem states that suppose this is a triangle A, B, C, and suppose P is the midpoint of AB. We assume that P is the midpoint of AB, and through P a line is drawn which is parallel to BC. Through P a line is drawn which is parallel to BC. Suppose this line intersects the side AC at Q. Then the point Q will also bisect the third side AC. Okay, and its length is half of the second side. This is the converse of midpoint theorem. This means the point Q, by the converse of midpoint theorem, the point Q will be the midpoint of AC and the length of PQ will be half of the side BC. That is, Q is the midpoint of BC. This is one number and two number. PQ equal to half BC. This implies AQ equal to CQ. This is the midpoint theorem and this is the converse of midpoint theorem. Using these two concepts, we will solve this problem. Okay. So let's see this. It is given that in the question P is the midpoint of BC. Okay. And the line PR is parallel to the side CA. So we can use the converse of midpoint theorem. Since the side PR is parallel to the third side CA, this means the side PR bisects the third side AB. By the converse of midpoint theorem, PR is parallel to the another side CA. So PR bisects the third side AC by the converse of midpoint theorem. And similarly, since PQ is parallel to the side BA, so by the converse of midpoint theorem, the side PQ will bisect the third side AC. Any problem? So, solution. What are the given conditions? Given P is the midpoint of BC, then PR parallel CA and PQ parallel BA. To prove, Roman 1 number RQ parallel BC, Roman 2 number area of triangle PQR equal to 1 1 by 4th, 1 quarter means 1 by 4th into area of triangle ABC. We have to prove this two results. Okay, solution. In triangle ABC, P is the midpoint of BC and PR parallel CA. This implies R will also be the midpoint of AB and PR equal to half of AC. By converse of midpoint theorem, again P is the midpoint of BC and PQ parallel BA. So Q will also be the midpoint of make this division number 1. Q will also be the midpoint of AC and PQ parallel AB by the converse of midpoint theorem, or you may write same reason as above. Okay, now we get that R is the midpoint of AB and Q is the midpoint of AC. Now apply midpoint theorem in this case. R is the midpoint of AB and Q is the midpoint of AC by 1 and 2. These two lines. So if we join these two lines R and Q, then RQ will be parallel to the side BC and its length will be the half of the side BC by the midpoint theorem. Okay? So from 1 and 2 we see that R is the midpoint of AB and Q is the midpoint of AC. So by midpoint theorem, what is midpoint theorem? So by midpoint theorem, RQ parallel BC and RQ equal to half BC. So the first condition is proved. RQ is parallel to BC. Now we have to prove the second condition. How to prove the second condition? Second condition is area of triangle PQR is half of area of triangle PQR is half of the area of triangle ABC. Okay. Now what is the area? What is the area of the triangle ABC? we know that area of the triangle ABC is half into base into height. Okay, half into base into height. This is the formula to find the area of triangle ABC. And what is the area of triangle PQR? What is the area of this triangle PQR? Now, this line and this line both are parallel. We get that these two lines are parallel. Okay, so draw perpendicular. Suppose this is the perpendicular. Suppose AM. Let height of triangle ABC is AM equal to H. Therefore, area of triangle ABC equal to half into base BC into height AM, that is half into BC into H. Unity square. Okay. Now, what is the area of triangle PQR? What will be the area of this triangle PQR? Now, draw. Suppose we assume that PQ is the perpendicular, na? Because PQ is the height of the triangle. Let height of triangle PQR is PM equal to, suppose H1. Clearly, these two lines are parallel. Why these two lines are parallel? Why? Since this and these angles are parallel, since this the line BC and the line RQ, are parallel, so this is a transversal, and we know that the co-interior angle are supplementary. So if this angle is 90 degree, so this angle is also 90 degree. And we see that this angle and this angle both are 90 degree. This means these two lines are parallel. Right? And since this line is parallel and these two lines are parallel, so we can say that the length of PM is half of the length of AM. Why length of PM is half of the length of AM? Here PM equal to H2. Okay, clearly this is a rectangle PM. Suppose this point is O. PM ON is a rectangle because 90 degree. This angle is 90 degree. So this is also 90 degree. That is PN equal to MO. Now O will be the midpoint of AM. Why O will be the midpoint of AM? You use converse of midpoint theorem. What converse of midpoint theorem? This is the midpoint. This point is the midpoint, and this is parallel to this side. Right? So this side will bisect the third side. Now in triangle AMC, AQ is equal to QC. Q is the midpoint. This means AQ is equal to QC and QO parallel CM. This implies QO bisects AM. That is O is the midpoint of AM, that therefore MO is equal to half AM equal to half H. Therefore, PM equal to MO equal to half H. Okay, so area of triangle PQR. Therefore, area of triangle PQR equal to half into base QR into height is PM. Okay. This implies half into QR means half BC and PN means half H. This implies 1 by 4 into half BC into H, and half BC into H means area of triangle ABC. Okay. Okay. Half BC into H means area of triangle ABC. Make this equation number 3 equal to 1 by 4 into area of triangle ABC. Proved. Okay. So the theorem is done. This can be done in so many different ways. এটা আরো অনেক রকম ভাবে করা যেতে পারে। যেমন আমরা এইভাবে করতে পারি, এই ট্রায়াঙ্গেলটা কনগ্রুয়েন্ট হয়ে যাবে। কি করে কনগ্রুয়েন্ট হয়ে যাবে? কারণ এই সাইড আর এই সাইড ইকুয়াল, এই ট্রায়াঙ্গেল এই ট্রায়াঙ্গেল এই সাইডের সাথে ইকুয়াল, এই অ্যাঙ্গেল ইকুয়াল আর এই অ্যাঙ্গেল ইকুয়াল, করেসপন্ডিং অ্যাঙ্গেল হয়ে যাবে। তারপর হচ্ছে তোমার এই অ্যাঙ্গেল আর এই অ্যাঙ্গেল ইকুয়াল, এটাও করেসপন্ডিং অ্যাঙ্গেল হবে। কেন করেসপন্ডিং অ্যাঙ্গেল হবে? কারণ এটা প্যারালাল, এখানে এটা প্যারালাল, তাহলে অ্যাঙ্গেল সাইড অ্যাঙ্গেল প্রপার্টি দিয়ে এটা কনগ্রুয়েন্ট হয়ে যাবে। সিমিলারলি এটা কনগ্রুয়েন্ট হয়ে যাবে, সিমিলারলি এটা কনগ্রুয়েন্ট হয়ে যাবে। তো এই তিনটে ট্রায়াঙ্গেল একে অপরের সাথে কনগ্রুয়েন্ট হয়ে যাবে। These three triangles will be congruent to each other, and এই ট্রায়াঙ্গেলটা যে কোনো একটা ট্রায়াঙ্গেলের সাথে কনগ্রুয়েন্ট কি করে হবে? অ্যাঙ্গেল দিয়ে না, সাইড দিয়ে হবে। কেন সাইড দিয়ে হবে? এর লেন্থ হচ্ছে এই ট্রায়াঙ্গেলের এই সাইডের লেন্থের হাফ, তাহলে এই লেন্থ হচ্ছে এই লেন্থের সাথে ইকুয়াল, এই লেন্থ হচ্ছে এই লেন্থের সাথে ইকুয়াল, এই লেন্থ কি হয়ে যাবে? এই লেন্থ হচ্ছে এই লেন্থের সাথে ইকুয়াল হয়ে যাবে। তাহলে এই যে মেইন ট্রায়াঙ্গেল, মিডল ট্রায়াঙ্গেল যে কোনো একটা ট্রায়াঙ্গেলের সাথে কনগ্রুয়েন্ট হয়ে যাবে। এবার তিনটে ট্রায়াঙ্গেলই পরস্পর একে অপরের সাথে কনগ্রুয়েন্ট, আর মিডল ট্রায়াঙ্গেলটা যে কোনো একটা ট্রায়াঙ্গেলের সাথে কনগ্রুয়েন্ট। তাহলে কি হবে? চারটা ট্রায়াঙ্গেলই একে অপরের সাথে কনগ্রুয়েন্ট হয়ে যাবে। কনগ্রুয়েন্ট হলে কি হবে? প্রত্যেকের এরিয়া ইকুয়াল হবে। তাহলে এই ট্রায়াঙ্গেলের এরিয়া কি হবে? টোটাল ট্রায়াঙ্গেলের এরিয়া 1/4 হয়ে যাবে। এইটা এইভাবে করা যেতে পারে। ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ।